Folks. Today we're going to be talking about Boys and Girls, a short story by Alice Munro. In particular, we're going to be talking about the symbol of the home and what it means. We're going to start off with a few quotes and discuss those individual meanings. For several weeks before Christmas, my father worked after supper in the cellar of our house. The cellar was whitewashed and lit by a 100-watt bulb over the work table. My brother Laird and I sat on the top step and watched. Now this is where the killing is kept to. This is where the foxes are skinned and butchered. And the children can only stay at the threshold. They're not really allowed or wanted to be in that environment in their youth. So they're not really comfortable with being in that environment of the killing of the foxes and what that symbolic killing means. And you can take a look at that in a couple of the other videos we've discussed, particularly the fox analysis one. So as these children watch this process, they're still not fully entrenched in it. They're not ready. They've not yet hit puberty. And it's also important to understand that this environment is one that is, again, whitewashed. Whitewash means that you're painting over in white. The history, the actual happenings of that place are painted over. The characters do not confront the process of skinning and butchering and what it does. And if we were to extend that further, so Munro suggests that individuals do not confront the realities of an oppressive status quo and what it does to an individual's well-being. So, in fact, she disliked the whole pelting pop operation. That was what the killing, skinning, and preparation of the fur was called, and which should not have to take place in the house. Now, this is the mother speaking, or rather, these are her intentions speaking. So the mother is a victim of the process and tries to protect her children from the realities of the process, which is part of life. She tries to make the home a safe place, and we see it's also a place that the characters return to, the children return to, when they are confronting something to do with death and violence. The mother is trying to create a safe place for her children, aware of the fact that then ultimately they will not be able to escape this process, just as she was unable to. After we've been sent to bed, we could still smell Fox and still hear Henry's laugh, but these things, reminders of the warm, safe, brightly lit downstairs world, seemed lost and diminished, floating on the stale, cold air upstairs. We were afraid at night in the winter. We were not afraid of outside. This is the time of the year when snowdrifts curled around our house like sleeping whales, and the wind harassed us all night, coming up from the buried fields, the frozen swamp, with its old bugbear chorus of threats and misery. We were afraid of inside, the room where we slept. Now here we have a lot of symbols which connect to the idea of endings. So we have the night, winter, and both of these are environments and symbols of endings. So seasonal endings, daily endings, and they are on the precipice of the end of something. And in this case, it's the end of their childhoods. They know this is coming. And also we can see that the environment that is upstairs, we have old linoleum, we have old paintings of battles. These are also all stored upstairs with them. So this is refuse. So they're aware of that something is being stored, something is being put away, and they're going to lose part of themselves. Eventually, though, they do become comfortable with the seasonal change and their roles in the home. The narrator eventually, she lays down lace, which is an expression of femininity. However, she is aware of the threat to her identity that her brother presents, and she still tries to lay down a barrier. It's important to note that she never really does. It's just something that she desires to do. She says that one day she would put down a barricade. So she begins to confront, or confronts too late, the fact that these identities are set in stone and she won't be able to fight through them. It was an odd thing to see my mother down at the barn. She did not often come out of the house unless it was to do something, hang out the wash or dig potatoes in the garden. The outside has become alien to her. The home has become a prison, and this speaks something to the role of women in this society. It was one that demanded that they lose their public face. When the narrator is young, her public face becomes the most important thing, how she looks, how she dresses, how her hair looks. And the mother, when she was younger, also valued her appearance. She discussed dresses with her daughter. However, as time passes, as a woman enters the home, then her label changes again, and now they are not expected to have a public face. They are expected to serve a role in the home. It seemed to me that work in the house was endless, dreary, and peculiarly depressing. Work done out of doors and my father's service was ritualistically important. Now it speaks something to the labor that women are expected to go into after they get married. To work in the home, like the narrator's mother, was soul-crushing and unappreciated. Monroe suggests that women go unappreciated while traditional men's labor is respected. Now, that doesn't mean men's labor is easy, but it does say that's how society evaluated what was important. And in the case of the mother, this is particularly demeaning. In fact, she begins to feel incredibly lonely. And then I can use her more in the house, I heard my mother say. She had a dead, quiet, regretful way of talking about me that always made me uneasy. I just get my back turned and she runs off. It's not like I had a girl in my family at all. It did not occur to me that she could be lonely or jealous. The narrator resents her mother for seeking out help and companionship. However, this is the only companionship the mother has to lean on. Go on up and play around the house. After catching the children watching the death of Mac, the father sends the children to the house, the place the mother tries to protect from the process. So again, the mother has created a space where the children are safer, and the father recognizes that there is a time for the children to be involved in this process, and it is not immediately. And again, there's a place for that safety. There's a place for that childhood to prevent that loss of innocence from coming too soon. Laird lifted his arm to show off a streak of blood. We shot old Flora, he said, and cut her up in 50 pieces. Well, I don't want to hear about it, my mother said, and don't come to my table like that. Again, we see the mother trying to protect the integrity of the home as a place absent of the loss of innocence, or a place that doesn't immediately confront that loss of innocence. However, it's really too late at this point. Laird has taken part in the process of killing. The mother removes it from the dining room, protecting this space, but soon after, the narrator, her daughter, is also put through the ceremony of skinning, and she takes on that mantle of girl as her father decrees, and she does not argue it either. All right, so that was us talking about Boys and Girls by Alice Munro, and in particular, we were talking about the role of the home and what it means. Thank you for listening, and if you want further analysis, look to the other videos on this subject. Thanks for your time. Have a good night.